Well, hey everybody, welcome to the third online lab, which is muscle mechanics. So previously we've studied the whole body motion in both linear and angular mechanics. And so in this lab, we're going to go deep into muscle level of the motion. So this one was previously a discussion lab. We don't do any hands-on data collection. We just discuss around some concepts. So I'll post some discussion session in Canvas, and I'll explain that later. So in this lab, we have three exercises. The first one is like an overview or a review of your anatomy class to see which muscle is controlling which joint in which kind of motion. And the second exercise is we're going to take a look at what EMG or electromyographic signal looks like in a knee extension exercise. In the third exercise, we're going to go deep into closed chain gait analysis with the EMG and to see the muscle activation pattern during walking. So let's go into exercise 1. And you can see that this table is basically what we're going to fill in for exercise 1. We have several scenarios. For example, the first scenario is for the knee during sit to stand from seat lift off until upright stance is achieved. So we're looking at knee joint in the sit to stand motion. And there are three blanks we're going to put something in. The first is the motion, and the second is action, and the third is muscles. So what kind of vocabulary should we fill in? Let's take a look at here. So for motion, we're describing the motion of that joint. So it can be extension flexion. So for example, for knee during sit to stand, that'll be knee extension, right? And also you got AB and adduction, internal and external rotation. And muscles will go back to your anatomy class to see which muscle is controlling which joint in which direction. And for action, there are three categories. That will be isometric, eccentric, and concentric contraction. So for concentric contraction, that means when you contract the muscle is shortening. So for example, when you're doing the bicep curl, when the dumbbell is going this way, that's concentric. Because for bicep, because bicep is shortening. And then when you go back, like after you lift the dumbbell, you put the dumbbell back, that your bicep is still controlling the movement, controlling the weight, but it's lengthening. So that's eccentric contraction. And when there's no movement, then it's isometric contraction. So I'm not sure if that's covered previously. But if not, you can simply Google the word concentric and eccentric contraction if you don't really get that concept. And you can see some probably YouTube videos for that. So let's go to, we're going to finish these 4 scenarios in my video. And then I'll post a discussion for these 4 scenarios that you're going to try to figure it out yourself. And the discussion is not graded. I just want to put an environment for you to discuss, but I won't grade the discussion session. So it's not mandatory to participate there. All right, so let's start from the first one. For knee, so we're looking at knee joint during sit to stand, from seat lift off until upright stance. So for knee during sit to stand, I'll say it's extension, right? Knee extension. And which muscle is controlling the motion? I would say for knee extension, that's mostly quadriceps. And the action is concentric contraction because when quadricep is contracting, it's actually shortening. So you can take a look at this graph. This guy is sitting, and then his knee angle is going to extension. And the quad, imagine there's a quad muscle across the knee joint. It's getting shorter and shorter and shorter. So that's concentric contraction for quadricep, and the motion is knee extension. Oh, good? Makes sense. Okay, then let's go to the second scenario. For the spine, as a parent is lowering an infant to the bed of a crib. Think about it, and we're going to talk about it in our next video.